Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. We appreciate you guys more than you know. And thanks for coming on. We love you dearly. And thanks for making The Doctor is In podcast, the number one health podcast in Canada and soon to be in the United States. Paula, how are you? Paula Joe. Brahim, number 2 on my hit parade, Brahim. Brahim, what did I say? How are you, my friend from Portland, Oregon? Elaine, St. John's, Newfoundland. Judy, how are you from New Brunswick? Rosalinda from the Kidneys of Canada. Maria from Ottawa. Elisa, good morning. Thanks, Brahim. Love you too, bro. Arlene, how are you? Nativity. Nativity's asking how I'm doing. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Bonnie, Little Britain. Sandy, Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Barashan, how are you? Fran, Orangeville. Lisa Marie. Marla, in beautiful Oregon, 78 today. You're kidding me. Catherine, Springdale, Newfoundland. Sandy from Chilliwack, British Columbia. Sherry from Fergus. Wendy from Markham. Deb from Harrow. Marlene, good morning to ya. Sharon from Kansas. And Arlene saying hello to Elaine. Rita, how is you? Yvonne, Petawawa. Sylvia, I love Mississippi. How are you? Andrea was in the clouds. Amber is from New Jersey. Francis from Vaughan. Nellie, how are you? And Janice from Brampton. Hi, Jill. Nice to have you on with us. And Karen, how are you from Innisfil? Frida, Devlin. And Cecilia, Shediac, New Brunswick. Donna, Park Hill. Wanda from Virginia. Wendy from Aylmer. Karen from Peterborough. Gloria from New York. And Gail. Sue from Bolton. Anybody from Northern Ontario that's still alive after that snowstorm? Luella, West Tennessee. Mary, saying hello to Dave and Elga. Teresa from Portugal. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for joining us. Dennis and Guylaine, how are you? Millicup from Stouffville. And I don't see the mayor this morning. Is he out shoveling? Gary. Carol Wasega. And a couple of more guys, and we get going and get on to our questions. Hi, Doris from Kitchener. And thanks for coming on. I'm going to say hello to Doc McEwen. I never see her name. I'm going to say hello to Yolande. I never see her name. Lise is saying, okay, big time snowstorm. Man, they got hammered in Sudbury and Timmins. Hi, Dave. Donna, Bonna. Hi, how about Bonnie? Rosa, there you are from Montreal. John Lefroy. Jessica, how are you, Jessica, from Pennsylvania? Welcome to The Doctor is In. Carol, Judy, Myra, and Cheryl. Okay, let's get back to the questions here. And now, Grace was asking me about Nano 24. Well, I don't know much about it other than it is lipid technology. So what they do with that, it's cancer tumor busters that they send in via lipid technology. So you'll hear about that lipid technology, sending it in with fat It makes it much more bioavailable, and it makes them target tumors. They literally target the exact tumor with, they're trying to do that today with immunotherapy. And this Nano 24, I've read about it, don't know much about it, but it sure looks promising if they can deliver this kind of targeted, is it really a drug? Partly natural as far as I can read about it. But anyway, yeah, listen, I don't know too much about it. It's hot off the presses and brand new technology, but hey, I'm not against that. Cancer is a big problem today. Like what we've done with cancer, the problem with cancer is we never look at prevention. Like when you look at breast cancer, for example, I'll give you that, they always talk about early detection, but that's not prevention. It's early detection. And sometimes the problem can be with detection is that cancer can take off in a hurry. Cancer takes a long time to get into the system where you can actually diagnose it. For example, I always use this. I did this on my radio show, even though people couldn't see it, they could visualize it, because I say, you see the tip of a ballpoint pen, just the tip of it. It takes cancer 5 years to get to that size. So when you are waiting for detection rather than prevention, like think of this size in breast tissue, ladies. You think you're going to even feel that? You think it's even detectable on a mammogram? Probably not. So the point I've always tried to make in the last 30, 40 years is we'll never win the war on cancer if we worry only about detection and not prevention. I'm into preventing cancer. And you fight cancer, guys, every day. You really do. Because your body has an immune system that is meant to fight cancer. You have to get the immune system supercharged. That's why I'm much more into prevention. And you start with your diet, because cancer cells thrive on sugar. There's no question about that. They try and couch that. They try and cloud that. They try and dismiss that, because for years and years and years, they never even talked 1 minute about nutrition and cancer. The cancer people didn't. The oncologists didn't. They never took an ounce of nutrition in school. So what's cancer got to do, what's sugar got to do with cancer? Right? Well, it feeds it. They're like teenagers. Cancer cells are renegades. They're ravenous. So look, if you do nothing else, start there. And guys, you know me. I'm big on your immune system and your T cells, your Navy SEALs. They don't work without vitamin D. They just don't. And if you don't have optimized levels of vitamin D, your immune system isn't up to snuff. So you have food, you have vitamin D, the sun, because that's one of the greatest things you'll ever do for your immune system. And then you have growth hormones. You have 2 of them. What makes things grow inside your body? One of them is a hormone called estrogen. And like I've said, that's environmental for many of us, well, all of us. Why? Because we're surrounded by what we call xenoestrogens. So women and men, listen, prostate cancer and breast cancer are just a two-headed coin. One of them happens to women and some men, breast cancer. Prostate cancer, men. But it's the same type of cancer. It grows with estrogen. And they go, well, doc, my estrogen is going down. I'm perimenopausal. I'm menopause. I'm postmenopause. I know. But we have what we call exogenous or xenoestrogens. Every stinking chemical, 100,000 brand new chemicals have been created since World War II. I was talking about this 50 years ago. And you and I live, I don't care where you are on the planet Earth, if your address ends with planet Earth, you're surrounded by xenoestrogens, from pesticides to herbicides to microplastics to fragrances to you name it. It's everywhere, and they mimic estrogen. That's a huge, huge, huge issue. You must battle that. Estrogen, and then the other growth hormone is insulin. It's a growth hormone. It makes things grow. So, cut it down. Get your insulin down. Your body was never meant to have insulin pumping 24/7, because most people, because of our diets, because we're carb loaded, you're just stimulating the growth hormone. Insulin was meant to have a part-time job, not a full-time job. And your pancreas was, like I said, was never meant to be. That's why I created the Reset, a 30-day program to reduce your insulin. It's a growth hormone. And it's connected to everything else in your body. From your heart to your brain, to cancer cells, to your liver, you name the organ. Okay? That's why I talk about it, guys, all the time. So when it comes to cancer and cancer treatment, hey, I'm all for it. If it works, who am I? I'm on your side. I don't want anybody to get cancer, and I don't want anybody to die of cancer. Okay? But we're not winning the war on cancer. It's terrible. Cancer in breast cancer is worse today than it ever was. And so is prostate cancer. And so is colorectal cancer. And so is pancreatic cancer. And so is esophageal cancer. They're all worse. When someone comes to my door, I feel sorry for them. Because they're going to get a lecture. It's not their fault. They're just coming to raise money for cancer research. And they're just volunteers. They're lay people. They don't know. Who doesn't want to win the war on cancer? So we can give gazillions of dollars, and we have, but it hasn't even made a dent. It's got worse. Why? Well, by the way, vast majority, because you can look in Canada, I don't know about the United States, but you can look at the Canadian Cancer Foundation or the Canadian Cancer Society or the breast cancer groups or whatever. They're funded, and they have charity tax status. Well, if that's the case, then you can go on their website and look at their money. How much money did they get? How much money goes to research? 90% of it goes to marketing. so they can raise money for next year. I once asked a head of a cancer group, how much research money has ever gone to vitamin D? What? We don't give any money to vitamin D. Dr. Martin, you're a quack. Quack, quack, quack. I know. Anyways, you know what I'm seeing? You know what I'm saying to you guys? Anyway, thanks for the question. I got off on a tangent. I couldn't help myself. What did Dr. Martin say about root canal? I think I talked about that, didn't I? Oh, yeah, okay. Root canal, look, if you can avoid it, I would tell you to avoid it. I'm not a dentist, but, you know, one thing, there's always, like, the problem with a root canal, now you got a dead root, and it's a breeding ground for bacteria, and that's a problem. Okay? That's a problem. And when you got a breeding ground for bacteria, that can get into the bloodstream. And I think I talked about this the other day, that research, even back, I remember, this has got to be 30 years ago, that they talked about the connection between the oral bacteria and heart disease, because it creates an inflammatory response. When the body sees a bacteria, of course, it fights it. The immune system gets turned on. But what if it doesn't get turned off? And that's one of the issues. Okay, that was Dairy. Caroline, can tell us what you know about psychosis. Why, you think I'm psychotic? Caroline, did I see it in my office? Yup. Okay, because psychosis is when people, you know, and it could be people suffering from bipolar. I've seen it in severe depression. I've seen it after severe trauma. They just don't know what's real. I think that's a good definition of what's real and what's not real. Okay? What's real and what's not real. And that's an issue. So, have I seen it? Yeah, absolutely I've seen it in my office. Okay? And I've often seen where people, they feel like everybody is turned against them. It's a conspiracy. Everyone turns against them. And their enemies are all around them. So they don't trust anybody, including doctors. So have I seen it? Yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day, let me just say this, because you're asking the question. Caroline, yeah, definitely have seen it. Here's me. If I have a patient that is suffering from psychosis or bipolar, severe depression, my testing is, look, here's why I did what I did, okay? No matter what your condition was. I always look for deficiencies. I always look for leaky gut, like things that doctors generally don't look for. I was very big on testing for vitamin D. Nothing works properly, including the brain, without vitamin D. Omega-3 levels, magnesium, checking B12. Is it optimized? Because B12 is a brain vitamin. B12 is a nerve vitamin. So I always checked on these things. Think of yeast or fungus, and then of course I always did A1C and checking sugars and how much sugar was in the bloodstream. Because sugar in psychosis, it stimulates the brain big time, and not in a good way. I mean, just ask any teacher about a kid that's got ADD or ADHD. So the brain is a sensitive organ connected to the gut. It's a sensitive organ to nutrition, big time. A sensitive organ to fungus or candida that gets into the brain, or heavy metals that get into the brain. See, I used to test for all that. And that's why I talk to you about that, okay? Because no matter what the condition, I always wanted to know where that patient stood. I checked their cortisol, for example. Checked their hormones, their estrogen, progesterone. The thyroid, liver enzymes. So when you do a complete workup, it's amazing the deficiencies or the problems that occur that are there consistently, usually in psychosis. Okay? Thanks for the question. Much appreciated. Okay, that was Caroline, I believe. Yep. Evelyn, what does Dr. Martin think of butyrate? Butyrate. What do I think of it? Well, it's a byproduct that's actually good for your friendly bacteria. Okay? And the best source of butyrate is a steak. So do you need to take a supplement of butyrate? No. You just eat the right food. Look, if you want to feed your bad bacteria, give it sugar and crappy carbs. They thrive on that. A fact. You want to feed your good bacteria. See, what army do you feed? What army are you feeding? Well, if you want to feed your good bacteria, feed it eggs, meat, and cheese. Cheese got one of its byproducts is butyrate. So, you want to take a supplement of butyrate? Oh, go ahead, but why not eat it? You're going to get it. Eat whole foods. And that's why I'm big on that. Okay? That's why I'm big on that. So, eggs, meat, and cheese. Feed your good guys. You eat crap, you're feeding your bad guys. The bad army, because you got bad guys in your body. Everybody does. And you want to balance. That ecosystem needs to be balanced. Otherwise, you get the invasion in the southern border of your gut, your gut-blood barrier. You get an invasion there. And fungus, the Trojan horse, will get into your system and overtake your system and send it into the bloodstream and carry toxins and heavy metals even up into your brain. It'll get past the northern border, your blood-brain barrier. So that's why, do I like butyrate? Yeah, because it's a byproduct of eggs, meat, and cheese. Eat the right foods. You're feeding your good bacteria. Okay. Because there's some doctors that'll tell you, and other practitioners that'll tell you, that's only found in plants. That's not true at all. Your best source is in whole foods of animal kingdom. Okay. That was Evelyn asking that question. CA is asking about her husband had a trace of blood in their urine when they tested it. Well, lots of people do. Okay? They don't know it because they don't test it. And oftentimes you can't see it unless you have a lot. Like if you got a lot of blood in your urine, you're either past a kidney stone or you got a urinary tract infection that's raging. But generally, a lot of people just have a little trace of blood. I used to test urine 100 times a day, it seems, in my office, okay? We did urinalysis. I loved urine for especially looking at early detection of diabetes. And oftentimes when you've got a fungal infection in the bladder, you might even have blood in the urine. And because it's irritating, but you don't even know it. So I'm not too concerned about it. Like I said, if you got a kidney stone and you got a lot of blood, usually you can see that blood. To get a trace of it often comes with a UTI and where you have bacteria, your leukocytes go way up in your urinalysis. And then you see blood in the urine. I've seen that a million times. Okay, thanks for the question. I wouldn't be too concerned, Pierre. That's your husband's name, isn't it? Holy moly, it is. Look, I mean, if he's, again, I guess, possibly. I mean, you got to rule out everything. I mean, make sure that there's no prostate or bladder cancer, but a trace of blood ordinarily, it don't bother me at all. I would do follow-ups on it, that kind of thing. Okay, thank you. That was CA. Tara was diagnosed with pericarditis, been put on colchicine, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's usually a medication that's often given. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory medication given with gout. Okay? What's the question here? Pericarditis. Well, look, Tara, colchicine is here's the problem with that drug, okay? Lots of side effects. A lot of people can't tolerate that medication because it's strong, it's powerful. Anytime you want to get a medication that it's powerful anti-inflammatory, it comes with a major amount of side effects. It's sort of like a Band-Aid. You don't want to be doing it all the time, okay? It's meant to be a short-term thing. And so for pericarditis, okay, which is an inflammation of the sac, the pericardium, around the heart, okay? That can happen by a bacterial infection, mostly viral infections. There was a lot of pericarditis in boys after the vaccination with COVID. It was one of the major side effects, especially in boys. So pericarditis, here's me again, okay? Itis, you got an inflammation. You wanna reduce that. So I was big on elevating nitric oxide for the pericarditis. Elevate that's why I love pine bark, Navital. That's why I love vitamin D. Vitamin D in the heart is essential. That's why I love lubrication. DHA, omega-3, one of the best things to lubricate your blood vessels, takes a lot of strain off of the heart. Curcumin, you mentioned that. I love curcumin. Okay? It's a tremendous anti-inflammatory. So is quercetin. If you have pericarditis, I would have you, if you were my patient, in my patient days, I would have had you on CoQ10. Now, CoQ10 is important for the mitochondria. So when you get a pericarditis, your heart is going, because of the inflammation around it, it's going to make that heart work a lot harder. So that's why I love the idea of CoQ10. If you're taking a statin drug, you absolutely need CoQ10. Why? Because CoQ10 is important for your mitochondria, your battery packs. Your heart's got a lot of battery packs. Why? You need energy. It's a muscle. It's a pump. Your brain has a lot of mitochondria. That's why. And how do you get CoQ10? From food. Steak. CoQ10. Okay? But a lot of people are low in CoQ10. And if you got pericarditis, you can guarantee you're low in CoQ10. So I'd have you on CoQ10 if you were in my practice days. Okay? All of those above. I'd have you on B12 too. Very important for energy. Very important for the nerves that go to the heart and supply the heart and the blood supply. Thank you. Deborah, best combination of supplements after a coronary artery bypass. Well, Deborah, all the things that I just talked about. Curcumin, Navitol, CoQ10, DHA, magnesium. Magnesium in the heart's important. Relaxes the blood vessels. You want to elevate your nitric oxide. Really important. And after a coronary bypass. DHA is the best thing you can do to lubricate your blood vessels. Okay? And sugar destroys, so cut out the sugar. Okay. Deborah. 2 Deborahs. Same Deborah or another Deborah? I don't know. But we love you. Okay. Is taking medication or supplements at night affecting your body's ability to detox during the sleep? No. No. Except if you're sedating. Okay? So if you're taking a medication to sleep, and it's a sedative, then your brain's self-cleaning oven won't come on. But if you're taking a medication, your liver has to work overtime, but your brain, as long as you're sleeping and not sedated, will get into the recuperative sleep. Okay? So, and supplements, the same thing. Like, you're taking, I got tens of thousands of people taking cortisol formula before sleeping. Well, that's just helping them to get into a sleep and a better sleep. So it's actually helping your detox. A lot of people take magnesium before going to bed. It's just helping your detox. It's not curtailing your detox. And look, sometimes you're taking the medication or whatever at night. And again, if you're not sedated, then you're getting into your REM sleep. Okay. Arthritis. Tonia's asking about arthritis. Well, look, in terms of inflammation, I would be on curcumin, Navitol. I love the combination of those two together. Very, very, very anti-inflammatory, very good for you. Listen, if you're taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, now you're saying you're allergic to pine, but the pine bark extract, I've had tens of thousands of people, I'm not exaggerating, over the years say, well, I'm allergic to pine. Yeah, well, Don't take a pine drink or whatever, don't put, but pine bark, the extract, to say that I've seen people that are actually allergic to the extract of it, I haven't seen it. Okay? And the doctor's trying to put you on some painkiller. Look, I mean, we talked about this the other day when I was talking about cortisone and getting on prednisone, for example, long-term, whatever. I just try, look, if you want to do it temporarily, I'm on your side. And, of course, we try and do everything you can to, for your quality of life. But in the long run, you really want to do, take care of everything you can do anti-inflammatory. When you get chronic pain from arthritis, either in the spine or in the hips or wherever, no easy task. And when someone tells you this is the be-all and end-all and everything's over, give me a break, okay? If it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. But I'm not against trying, man. Okay? Thanks for the question. And let me see. Okay, Joanne. And I'm going to answer Lee's because she sent me her blood work too. Joanne said, my LDL is 4.13. Who cares? It's actually good because it's high. You want LDL to be high. Unlike what they tell you to get your LDL down. Because the more they study LDL, the more they realize how important it is for your body. It's a big part of your immune system. It's a big part of your delivery mechanism of your hormones and that, okay? They made it out to be a bad guy, but it's not, okay? Now, you're telling me, okay, so where is it now? Your triglycerides are 0.68. That would be 68 in the United States. And HDL is 2.39, which would be 239 in the United States. Excellent! You're a superstar, Joanne. That's what I look at. What your triglycerides and what your HDL is and what that ratio. And you got a tremendous low triglycerides, fat balls, and good, very good HDL. Very good. I love it. Okay? Cecilia, TSH went down a lot. What would cause this? Okay? Well, it depends, Cecilia, again, okay? One thing about the thyroid, it's a puppet. What? It's got a lot of strings attached to it. So when I look at TSH numbers, or T3 or T4 numbers, I take them with a grain of salt, meaning that I want to know your symptoms, because symptoms, especially with the thyroid, trump your numbers. Which is but my experience. Again, you want to show me thyroid numbers? Okay, I'll look at them. But I won't base everything on numbers. I just won't when it comes to the thyroid. There's too many strings attached to it. So I would tell you, Cecilia, what would cause this? A lot of things might cause it, but how are you feeling? That's more important to me. Look, I actually don't care that your TSH is that low so much. But depending on how you're feeling, what are your symptoms? Send those along in an email. I'll give you a better answer. How are you feeling? What are you feeling? Okay? Like I said before, you never came into my office without answering a questionnaire, and I had a questionnaire on the thyroid. Okay? These are thyroid questions I'm asking you. What's your hair like? What's your skin like? What is your eyebrows like? What is your metabolism like? What is, yada, yada, yada. I want to know that. What's your energy levels like? I need to know that because I'm looking at your TSH, but I need information. Okay? Information. And, okay. I think I answered this the other day with Sherry, didn't I? About supplementing with creatine. I like creatine, eat steak. Where do you get creatine? Steak. Sun, steak, and steel. You've heard of that? Okay. Guys, we love you. Thanks for all the questions. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Send all your info to info@martinclinic.com. All your info. I asked you for info. Otherwise, send your questions in for info@martinclinic.com. Now, we're planning afternoon session tomorrow. Planning. Always subject to change, okay? But we'll let you know in advance. Okay. We love you dearly and sincerely. Talk to you soon.